Breaking news from California. The city of Calabasas has confirmed NBA star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash. This is the scene from that crash. And police say all 9 people on board that helicopter were killed. And Bryant won 5 NBA titles. All of them were with his team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, I want to turn now to NBA player Enes Kanter. He is one of many voices reacting to the news of Kobe Bryant's death. Kanter plays for the Boston Celtics and joins us now via FaceTime. Enes, thank you so much for making time for us. You are one of the few people that we're going to speak to today who has actually met Kobe Bryant. Talk to us about that meeting with him. What was he like?
I mean, first of all, first time I heard the news today, actually, I was hoping it was a fake news. And because I did not want to believe the news, and then once it got confirmed, my heart just shattered like everybody's, because Kobe Bryant did so much for this game on and off the court. And I remember first time meeting him in Turkey, actually, after I got drafted. I remember there was this big event. He came to the Turkey, and I sit down with him and talk to him, and actually give me. He told me about his experiences, and he gave me a lot of tips about NBA and how I should take care of my body and stuff. But I remember just watching him when I was a kid, 3, 4 a.m., waking up in the Turkey, and he was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to become an NBA player. So now just hearing his news definitely shattered my heart.
And I'm so sorry to hear that, you were so deeply personally affected. But at the same time, I'm so moved that he personally meant so much to you, that he was part of the inspiration of you becoming a professional athlete. So let's talk about that a little bit. You're a young boy in Turkey. You've got dreams of becoming a professional athlete and moving to North America and living out this dream. And when you meet one of your idols, what's that moment like for little young Enes?
Yeah, it meant the world to me, I mean, not just me, but he inspired millions and millions of kids and adults, and I remember that he was just his life, for him to just love for his game, his passion, his work ethic, his hard work, and it was just, it was just on a different level. So I think for me, it was just amazing to just meet him for the first time in Turkey. And actually, my first regular season game was against Kobe Bryant at Staples Center. Obviously, he scored, I think, around 40 points, and we lost the game, but it was an honor to share the same court with him.
What was that like? All these layers of your relationship with him growing up and then becoming your colleagues. You're not teammates, but your colleagues, your equals on the court. So what was that moment like to play against him?
I mean, it was an honor, and I was so humbled to just go out there and share the same court with him, and I was like a dream came true, because I mean I grew up watching him, and just to go out there and play against one of your idols, one of your heroes on and off the court was definitely meant a lot to me. As a 19-year-old kid, I was just speechless, and I remember my knees were shaking to just go out there.
But did you want to beat him, Enes? Did you want to beat him during that game?
Of course, for sure. But like, just to be out there with him, just that I can tell my kids, my grandkids that, hey, my first regular season game ever was against Kobe Bryant. So it was definitely amazing.
You mentioned that he inspired millions of kids. Now, is that something that's unique to Kobe? And if it is, what was unique about Kobe that inspired so many people?
I mean, what he did on and off the court, he was more than a basketball player. What he did off the court, he was always, a charitable guy. He was always loved to give back to community and inspire millions. All the stuff he did off the court, NBA cares, all the hospitals he visited, all the the schools that he went, and it was just so amazing to see that he took the basketball in a different level and did so much for and taught us this is not just basketball. It should be more than basketball. It should be on and off the court.
And talk to us about off the court. So what did he represent? Because we're hearing a lot today about his work ethic. Maybe he wasn't necessarily I mean, he was one of the best, but maybe if he wasn't the greatest of all time, we're hearing that he was the hardest working of all time. What did that represent off the court?
I mean, I was, of course, it meant a lot. So because we are competitive, right? And we are always hearing that he always wakes up 3 a.m. to go to practice. And then all the players were like, why does he wake up 4 a.m. to go to practice? But he was just, he didn't, I don't think any athlete in the world had the DNA he has, because his work ethic, his hard working, his love for the game, his passion, I think one thing what made him so special is he made himself better and he made everybody else better around him. That's what made him really special. And I'm not just talking about the players or organization. I'm talking about the city. I'm talking about the whole state and whole country. So that's why he was very special.
What are your teammates saying? Have you had a chance to speak to other professional basketball players and how they're reacting to the news?
I mean, it was, they all lost words. I mean, I cannot describe you with words that how much it affected not just my teammates, the whole sports world, because Kobe meant it was more than basketball. It was the whole sports world. It hit all the sports world. So that's why, my teammates, the coaches, the fans, everybody was just heartbroken.
Again, I'm so sorry because it is so personal for you and he meant so much to you. You mentioned during our conversation that you want to tell your kids and your grandkids that, hey, my first professional game, I played against my idol, Kobe Bryant. So now when you talk to your kids and your grandkids and all kids that you'll speak to, what are you going to tell them about Kobe?
I will just tell them that, what he did for the game on and off the court, his love for the game and what he represented, what he gave. He gave his whole heart. It was just so much to whole world. I'm just happy that I have a picture with him while I'm playing against him or I'm standing next to him, because it's definitely an even honor to stand next to that legend.
Yeah, we're showing that picture of the two of you standing together. We've been showing it throughout the interview. Listen, Enes, I'm so sorry for how sad you're feeling. I'm so happy that you got to meet your idol, and I really, really want to say thank you so much for making time for us tonight.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, as you can see, Kobe Bryant's death is being felt deeply by the NBA community, including players and coaches. And here is an emotional Doc Rivers, coach of the LA Clippers.
He had that DNA that very few athletes can ever have. The Tiger Woods and the Michael Jordans. It's funny. I was getting to know him more since he retired. This is a tough one. I don't. We have to go play. The news is just so devastating for Vanessa and his family, and there's just so many people he touched, it's looking at my young players and seeing how emotional they are. They didn't even know him, and it just tells you how far his reach was. So, this is just shocking news for all of us. And sorry, I don't have a lot to say. I just can't. I have to go talk to a team before a game and tell them to play a game.
The president and CEO of Basketball Canada is Glenn Grunwald. Now, he shared with us some of his thoughts on the life and legacy of Kobe Bryant.
Well, it was a shock to me to have someone struck down really in the prime of his post-playing career. I was very much saddened to hear it that we lost one of the all-time greats from our sport. He was, as the previous commentator was saying, an incredibly passionate basketball player and an incredible hard worker that would accept nothing less than the ultimate effort from himself and his teammates. Well, he leaves one of the all-time greats. Ironic that LeBron James just passed him for third on the all-time scoring list, but really a champion both in the NBA and also in international basketball. And he helped not only improved the value of the NBA, but he really helped grow the sport of basketball across the world. As was mentioned, he's so popular in China, but his participation in the Olympics and other international competition helped really grow the game and turn other countries and fans onto our sport. Obviously, the others that lost their lives today, I guess, including his daughter, what a tragedy. But I felt that he was actually going to continue to do great things. There was mentioned already that he won an Oscar for a short film that he put together in 2018 about basketball and how important it was to him. But he was also doing a lot of good things, mentoring other athletes. I think he was a good father in terms of coaching his daughter's basketball teams. And I think he was approaching his post-playing career as aggressively and with a lot of passion like he did his basketball career. So I think we didn't see all that we could have seen from Kobe Bryant, and I would have liked to have seen what else he would have accomplished with his life.
Let's get more reaction to Kobe Bryant's death. I want to turn now to Christian Rivas. Now, he writes about the LA Lakers for SB Nation, a sports news website, and he joins us now from Los Angeles. So, Christian, let me begin with the question that we're all asking one another, which is, what was your reaction when you heard the news about his death?
I think it was a similar reaction to everyone had. It was just a state of shock. It wasn't like many deaths of celebrities in the past. When you look, you can point to things like sickness or, things of that nature. It really was just a tragic accident that nobody could have seen coming, especially not at the young age of 41 years old, and especially not somebody of Kobe's stature.
And so, aside from the sadness and the shock of hearing of his death, what are fans and other people in the basketball communities telling you about this loss?
I think the biggest thing I've gathered today is just the amount of fans of Kobe Bryant that are in the NBA today. I mean, Kobe Bryant was drafted in 1996, which means most of these players that are 23, 24 years old grew up watching him and idolized him to a certain generation of players, many of which are playing in the NBA now, that Kobe Bryant was the closest thing to Michael Jordan that they had. So just a ton of players in the NBA community feeling like they lost a childhood hero, and to some that were closer to him, a family member they'd liken it to.
Christian, you've used words like idol and hero. What made Kobe so special?
I think the thing most people will point back to is his work ethic, and I think that's evident in not just the way he played basketball. Obviously, won 5 championships, a league MVP, an 18-time All-Star, did everything you could possibly accomplish as a basketball player. But even in his post-basketball career, as soon as he hung it up, he wanted to tackle new projects, and within a year of writing his first screenplay, he won an Oscar. Shortly after, a sports Emmy, and has a pretty successful book that's out right now, the Wisnard series. So it really just comes back to his work ethic and how much passion he had for each project he had. And I don't think that's his breed is something we see a ton of.
You know, as we're speaking to you, we're showing pictures, of course, of Kobe Bryant and all those legendary moments in his career, but we've also been showing pictures of that incredible crowd that's gathering outside the Staples Center where he played for so many years, played his home games. And there's lots of talented athletes. There's lots of inspiring people. They don't all get people to get out of their homes and just stand outside a place to sort of mark the end of an era. So what is it that brought people together around this athlete?
Right. I think a large part of it is how much time he spent in Los Angeles. 20 years is a long time. It's nearly half of his life. And as you alluded to earlier in the show, he did start playing at 18 years old. So he grew up with the city of Los Angeles. And I think a large part of it also has to do with what he accomplished here. I think playing in a big market like Los Angeles or New York, some players run away from that and aren't built for that, but Kobe Bryant was. He reveled in it, and not only did he enjoy the process, he delivered on his promise of bringing the Lakers championships, 5 during his 20-year career. And, people argue back and forth all day how much he contributed to them as compared to somebody like Shaquille O'Neal. But the one thing that is undeniable is that Kobe Bryant played a big part in the Lakers legacy brand that we know today. And his name will always be synonymous with the organization and most of all the city.
Christian, have you heard anything regarding his wife, Vanessa, and family members? Because, of course, the news now is that not only did we lose Kobe Bryant, but Kobe's daughter, also one of his 4 daughters, was also on that helicopter with him, and she too died as a result. So any news, any word coming out from the family?
No, not yet, but you can only imagine what they're going through. I mean, Vanessa Bryant met Kobe Bryant when she was 18 years old. And the most heartbreaking thing about all of this is that Kobe Bryant was just starting his post-retirement career, was being able to spend more time with his family and get involved in his oldest daughter, Gianna, the one that passed away tragically in her basketball career. She loved the game, wanted to be the next big thing in women's basketball, and with her talent, there's no doubt that she would have been.
And in terms of his legacy, next year, 5 years, 10 years down the line, what do you think people will remember about him?
I think people will remember him as one of the not just most talented basketball players to ever step on the court, but one of the most hardworking. Because I mean, some people are just born with talent, if you believe that. But if you work harder than somebody else, that's really what's going to put you over the top and put you in the conversation as one of the greatest of all time. And I think not just people in Los Angeles, but people all over the world view Kobe Bryant as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and honestly, one of the greatest athletes of all time.
You know, we don't have much time left, but I can't let you go. And I know people get upset when we bring this stuff up, especially as someone has lost their life. But when we talk about Kobe's legacy, you can't ignore some of the bad stuff. And one really bad thing as part of his life history is that he was accused of rape, and he was charged with sexual assault of a 19-year-old woman in Colorado. It got settled out of court. And he acknowledged that he did sleep with her, but he always denied that he raped her. And that fundamentally will always be part of the story. So how do people come to terms with the fact that they might admire the athlete and the talent, but at the same time, this man was accused of doing something very, very serious?
Right, and I think that's a problem you run into a lot these days. The struggle of a complicated legacy, whether it's a Michael Jackson or Bill Cosby. But I think on days like today, people want to celebrate the person Kobe Bryant was. But I do think it is undeniable that, you know, the rape accusation is a part of his story, as unglamorous as it is. When journalists and writers talk about Kobe Bryant's legacy, that can't go just glossed over.